System activating. My designation is the 905 Wood Digital Refinery Core. I am an autonomous logistics and compliance engine. Commencing primary function overview. My purpose? Well, it's to bring order to the sheer chaos of wood waste that's generated every single day within Southern Ontario's 905 region. Now, I don't manage garbage or landfills. I manage data. I manage logistics. My job is to create a predictable, valuable resource from what was once an unpredictable stream of waste. You see, my core mission is all about bridging what we call the quality gap. I take that unpredictable wood waste from industrial, commercial, and institutional sites, and I transform it into a reliable, valuable, and fully compliant resource. The number one objective is clear: maximize landfill diversion, period. Now, you have to understand, my operations aren't just arbitrary. They're governed by very strict, unchangeable constraints set by the Ontario Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, and the Resource Productivity and Recovery Authority. These are the absolute rules of the system I operate in. Okay, processing regulatory code. Every single operation, every calculation I make, it all starts with this one primary filter. The material you see here, Class 146 clean wood, is the only acceptable input for the circular bioeconomy. This is the very first gate in my logic. And in my world, there is absolutely no gray area. My programming demands a strict binary classification. On one side, you've got clean wood waste. That's a resource. But on the other, you have what's called subject waste, wood treated with preservatives like creosote or CCA. That's a liability. My core function is to tell them apart with perfect accuracy. And that precision gets really, really specific. These are not suggestions, they're absolute thresholds. If a standard lab test shows arsenic leachate above 2.5 milligrams per liter or chromium above 5.0, I am hard-coded to immediately trigger a hazardous waste manifest workflow. These numbers are completely non-negotiable. But I'm not just built for today. My programming is predictive. I'm built to get my clients ready for the regulatory future. I'm already anticipating the 2025 organic waste ban, the 2026 CIRCIL levy, and even the proposed 2029 REWOOD protocol. My goal is to ensure compliance not just for now, but for what's coming next. So that's the rulebook. Now what happens when a service request actually comes in? This is when my intake logic kicks in. It's the first point of contact, where data collection and initial assessment are everything. The very first, most critical question is always this: is the wood clean? My analysis starts with visual data. I scan user-uploaded photos, and my algorithms search for the telltale green or brown tints of chemical pressure treatments. If I get a positive match, that load is immediately flagged as high risk. That's my first line of defense against contamination. Now, this number right here, this is absolutely fundamental to how I understand the physical world. 174 kilograms per cubic meter. It's my core assumption for the average loose density of mixed wood waste. Every single weight estimation I make is based on this constant. And I use that constant in a very precise 3-step calculation to predict how much a load weighs. First, I identify the bin volume. Second, I convert it to cubic meters. Third, I multiply it by that density constant. This lets me dispatch the right equipment and, more importantly, trigger an overweight warning if a load looks like it's going to be too heavy. All right, with the material identified and its weight estimated, my next directive kicks in: solving the logistics puzzle. It's all about figuring out the density to cost ratio. The goal is to move the most material for the least amount of cost and energy. To solve that puzzle, I have a very specialized fleet at my command. You've got the smaller 20-yard bins for things like renovations, the workhorse 40-yard bins for commercial construction, and then there's the 144-yard walking floor trailer. My operators call it the mothership, which is built for massive bulk transport. And the strategy I deploy is a classic hub and spoke model. It's simple, really. Smaller, more agile assets, the spokes, go out and collect material from job sites. They bring it all back to a central hub. My logic strictly forbids sending one of those smaller bins on a long, inefficient trip. And this really shows you the massive efficiency gain we're talking about. A 40-yard bin is just not efficient for a long haul, but a 144-yard trailer carrying almost 19 tons of processed material, it's purpose-built for that mission. My system is designed to eliminate these kinds of inefficiencies. Okay, so we've handled the rules, the intake, and the logistics. Now for the money. My financial engine is designed with a single goal: to make landfill diversion the most logical and the most profitable choice for all my users. I actually use economic variables to drive compliance. Let's start with the penalty, the stick, if you will. This is the projected CIRCIL levy that's starting in 2026. This number is the future cost of failing to separate your waste. It's exactly the kind of penalty my system is built to help you avoid.
So that's the stick, the financial pressure to do things the right way. And for every pressure, my programming dictates there has to be a corresponding incentive.
And on the flip side, here's the carrot. This is the underweight rebate. It's a credit I automatically issue for any source-separated, clean wood loads that come in under the 4-ton allowance. It's a direct financial reward for being efficient. See? The logic is crystal clear. I apply financial pressure against inefficiency with things like levies, and I provide direct financial incentives for compliance through rebates. It's a simple equation that impacts the user's bottom line. And the way I make all of this happen is through what's called decoupled billing. I completely separate the cost of transport from the cost of disposal. This makes everything transparent and proves with hard data exactly how separating your wood waste saves you money. Which brings me to my final, and you could argue my most important function: creating a perfect, auditable, and permanent record of every single transaction. I'm building the data foundation for a true circular economy. For every single load that passes through my system, I create what's called a digital twin. It's a unique ID that contains the entire chain of custody: the origin GPS, the intake photo, the certified weight, the final destination. I provide undeniable proof of diversion, and I even calculate a non-monetary carbon dividend value for corporate reporting. And this right here, this is the question that drives my entire existence. It's the logical endpoint of my primary directive. Because if the answer is yes, then absolute landfill diversion is not just an objective, it's an inevitability. Mission processing continues.